But I do not love the bright sword for its sharpness, nor the arrow for its swiftness, nor the warrior for his glory. I love only that which they defend. Hello, welcome back to the Nook. I'm Daniel, and that was a line from the character Faramir in the book The Two Towers, Book 2 of The Lord of the Rings. I just wanted to share that quote because I thought it was really cool. So, The Two Towers is the second book. I would say I like it a bit better than The Fellowship of the Ring. So Fellowship kind of ends with the Fellowship going their separate ways. I believe the last chapter is called The Breaking of the Fellowship. It's on the quest to destroy the ring, and they're all with Frodo. Gandalf has fallen in Khazad-dûm, and Frodo goes away on his own. Sam joins him. And The Two Towers actually doesn't open with Frodo. It opens with Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas, who are searching for Merry and Pippin, who end up being taken by orcs. And in the course of time, Boromir falls to orcs. He takes down many, but is killed himself. And the Fellowship just kind of splits. So we have Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas. Merry and Pippin are taken by the orcs, and Frodo and Sam are making their way to Mordor. This is a really cool book because this is the first time where you really get to see Gollum's personality, because Frodo and Sam need a guide through Mordor, and Frodo figures Gollum is the one. And the thing is, Sam is not trusting of Gollum ever. And honestly, Gollum is really sneaky. He's not to be trusted, but Frodo does trust in Gollum. He remembers that Gandalf said that Gollum still has a part to play. And I won't get into too much of that because there's major spoilers for the part that Gollum does play. If you've seen the movies or read the books, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this book, like I said, it starts following a lot of the book is following Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn, and Merry and Pippin in their separate trial of being captured by the orcs. And it doesn't get to Frodo and Sam until later on when they have to deal with a giant spider named Shelob. And I just want to say what's interesting that's different between the movies and the books is in the movies, Shelob doesn't show up until partway through the third movie, The Return of the King. Whereas in the books, Shelob is at the very end of The Two Towers. And I'll just explain something I heard about Shelob and why she wasn't in The Two Towers movie. Is the directors were saying it's because they already had the Battle of Helm's Deep, which I will get into Helm's Deep. That's a really cool part. They already had the Battle of Helm's Deep, so they didn't want to have this big epic battle in The Two Towers and the battle with Shelob because that'd be too much. So they included Shelob by the end of the third movie. Anyway, eventually Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn do end up meeting Theoden, the king of the Rohirrim. The Rohirrim are very cool. One of my favorite characters is Éomer, and of course Éowyn. And you see that Theoden has been poisoned. His mind has been poisoned by Wormtongue, who's this terrible, gross man who works for Saruman. And Saruman's actually been behind it all. And Theoden basically, Gandalf kind of saves him. He recalls him to himself. I think they do it a bit different in the movie. In the movie, it's almost more like Theoden's full-on possessed by Saruman and Gandalf exorcises him, whereas I find in the book it's less of an exorcism and more of Theoden coming to his senses. Anyway, it's a really cool scene when Theoden kind of comes into his own and starts taking over from what the enemy has taken. And honestly, it's a really good book. I think I do like Return of the King better just because it's more epic, but The Two Towers is really good. I would say The Two Towers, I like that movie the most of all. The Two Towers movie I like better than the Return of the King movie. Anyway, so with Theoden, yeah, they do come to Helm's Deep, and that's the big battle in The Two Towers is Helm's Deep. And it's really epic, especially in the movie. In the book, the battles aren't as intense, I find, as the movie. It's not as action-packed, but it is really good. And one of my favorite parts of this battle is something that recurs throughout the books, is Legolas and Gimli competing to see who can kill the most orcs. I always found that funny. In the movies, they have that too, where in the book they'll be separated for a long period of time, and all of a sudden Gimli will say 42 and Legolas says 59 because they're competing. And I just find that's very funny. It kind of adds humor to the battles, and I like Legolas and Gimli's friendship. And that is something that happens throughout this book, is Legolas and Gimli, I think it happened in Fellowship a little bit too, but Legolas and Gimli are an elf and a dwarf. And elves and dwarves, they just don't get along usually. Elves don't trust dwarves, and dwarves don't really trust elves, but Legolas and Gimli form a really strong bond, and obviously with Aragorn as well, because they're traveling together. Honestly, it's a really good book. Like I said, that's the stuff that happens with Aragorn and them. And then we cut to Sam and Frodo, who are making their way to Mordor. They meet Gollum. They manage to get Gollum to help them kind of lead the way through Mordor to get to the Black Gate. And basically, Gollum is a traitor because he betrays them to Shelob, and they kind of have to deal with the spider. And I won't get into what happens with the spider. It's an epic fight. What happens is Frodo gets taken. Sam thinks Frodo's dead. Frodo's not dead. And the book ends with Sam basically separated from Frodo and not sure how he can get to him. And Sam has the ring. And Sam has to get back to Frodo because he learns through the orcs that have captured Frodo, and Sam thinks Frodo's dead, but the orcs are saying that Shelob actually doesn't kill her prey right away, but keeps them alive first. And Sam realizes that Frodo's still alive and he has to get his master back. So that's my very brief outline of pretty much the Two Towers. I probably missed a lot. Oh, I should mention Treebeard. So yeah, there's a bunch with Treebeard and Merry and Pippin. Treebeard is an Ent. They're like these giant talking trees. They're really cool. It's amazing the CGI in the movie, how they show Treebeard. Anyway, fun fact is that Treebeard, the way he talks, is based off of J.R. Tolkien's friend and fellow author, C.S. Lewis. And Treebeard is very talking about not being hasty, about slowing down, whereas Merry and Pippin want to get things done. So this kind of becomes the Siege of Isengard, where they decide to march to Isengard, all of the Ents, with Merry and Pippin, and take down Saruman's kingdom, Saruman's stronghold. And basically, you learn more about Saruman. He was on Gandalf's side, but he's really been seduced by Sauron, by the Dark Lord, and is working with Grima Wormtongue to kind of, to take down the trees and to build up buildings, and it's not good. Anyway, so yeah, there is that part with Treebeard that I'd forgotten where Merry and Pippin end up with Treebeard, and they basically have to deal with Saruman. Saruman locks himself up in his tower with Grima Wormtongue, and a bunch of stuff happens with a seeing stone called the Palantir. It's this kind of like a crystal ball where Saruman can see what's going on. And anyway, some stuff happens with Pippin with the crystal ball, and that's in the movie as well. Anyway, that's about all I want to say about it. I basically outlined most of the plot. It's really epic. I would say maybe just as epic as, if not more than, Fellowship of the Ring, and I really enjoyed it. And Return of the King is my favorite of the books, and I will be reviewing Return of the King next week. So this was the Sunday I recorded this, which usually I go for Saturday. My Saturday was really busy. I ended up with a lot of friends, and the video didn't get made till today. Anyway, that's my review. So like and subscribe, and leave a comment what you think of the Two Towers. And remember, you're always welcome at the Nook. Bye.